Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on Resi Roots. Just stay deadly.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah. So as you can tell from the title, it's Uncle Neff, back at it again, part two. Yeah. So with me I have Josh Ortiz, aka Uncle. Gonna be gonna be talking about some stuff. Yeah. So thank you guys for bearing with us when the times we're not consistent with posting our episodes, but yeah, I just want to thank you guys for that and just for all the listeners. This show is brought to you by listeners like you.
Supported by listeners like you.
Yeah, so Josh, how you been, man?
Oh, yeah. Been good. Just getting back from the rec center, playing a little bit of racquetball. Got my Propel here, down some salt. I'm good to go, man.
Cool.
Got my Tylenol here too.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
Yeah, for them knees.
Yeah, so just to kind of get right into it, this podcast episode would be kind of a little roller coaster, kind of go deep and then bring it back with some laughs, and I don't know, maybe go deep and then bring it back and then so side to side and
some yaks and yucks.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about was basically on the subject of like trauma. As an uncle, all these aunties.
Yeah, traumatized.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker.
Dang.
No, but yeah, like when it comes to living on like reservation life, there's a lot of hurt on the res. Either things like we have done, actions we've done that have hurt people, and then situations that have hurt us. Like how do we deal with that?
Just ball up. Ball's life. No, I mean, definitely get some exercise if that's your main source of exercise. But, yeah, that's a good question. Well, like you said, yeah, we deal with a lot of messed up stuff, A lot of it comes from our own family members, That's the hard thing. And, I'm not trying to call anyone out or anything. I'm just saying that's just the reality of the situation, I'm pretty sure those of you listening can relate with that. Yeah, like during, living on the res, you deal with that stuff. Not only you, but also your friends, your cousins, right? No one really talks about it. And, natives, right, like to joke about stuff like that too, make memes out of it and whatnot.
Like make fun of the hurt.
Yeah, basically. And, it's understandable, right? It's all natives. That's how we like cope with things. We like to laugh. We like to smile. But I mean, just because it's a way to cope doesn't mean that's the healthiest way to cope. Yeah, what was your question again?
Nah, man.
Yeah, I kind of just went into vision mode there.
So spiritual mode.
Yeah. Need some more electrolytes.
Yeah. No, I guess it was more along the lines of like, in terms of like, I guess trauma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, not like physical, like head trauma. So it was like we all kind of know how to deal with that.
Yeah, you just need a little bit of ease.
Yeah, so painkillers.
And by the way, folks, that's Tylenol, off-brand Tylenol, so
Yeah,
it's nothing illegal.
yeah, it's that red stuff.
Yeah, Dollar General stuff.
Would just say suck it up. Man.
Yeah, just say suck it up.
No, but like, yeah, like more like emotional, I guess, trauma. Like I said, like you doing something that may hurt others, and then kind of just like, never going back to that person and be like, oh, I'm sorry if I hurt you. Rather, you just, like, oh, and then like carry on with the life. And there's also the situations where you are in a position of like, I got hurt, and like now, like what do I do? And like you said, most people just go out and play ball. Like shoot out their anger and stuff, make bricks, build a house, build a house in anger.
Yeah. Get him a bus. He's walking.
But yeah, like in those moments, like how would you like I guess say like kind of deal with that in like more healthy ways rather than kind of for some people maybe like drinking more or kind of turning to that kind of life, but like how would you say like a healthy way to like deal with that, like on a reservation, I guess?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of it's a little hard to speak to because my healing didn't come while I was living on the res. But I've lived on the reservation, but my healing came from being in a healthy community. Yeah, like you said, we hurt, some in our own hurt and our own trauma, sometimes we hurt other people, right? It's a behavioral issue, and we have a common saying around here at IBC, hurt people, right? When you're hurting, naturally, oftentimes what you do is you hurt other people because you are hurting, right? Either intentionally or unintentionally. So my healing came in my own life came as a result of being a part of a healthy community that was Christ-centered and others-focused. Serving one another, looking out for one another's needs, right? Because in the scriptures it tells us that we're to love one another above ourselves, right? Love as Christ has loved you, to honor one another above oneself. And so that goes against human nature, right? Because typically we're selfish. I will speak for myself. I'm a selfish person, in all honesty. So it really takes a lot of work, prayer, meditation, evaluation to, think about my own selfishness and not hurt people as a result of that. So I'd say the main thing that really helped me find healing was a community, as well as accountability, and then other mature men. I can't stress that enough. For a woman, it'd be a woman. For a man, like us, us guys, us dudes,
buddies,
yeah, buddies, friends. Not your guy, pal. For us, it'd be a mature man to let you fail, but not leave you in your failure, right? Because healing is going to require an amount of failure, because you don't know any other way but hurt, right? So to get out of that, it's going to hurt getting out of that hurt. And you're going to hurt people, and hopefully you don't hurt yourself, and like you said, physically, mentally, emotionally, but it requires a sacrifice as well. Like for me, like the way I dealt with my healing, was through alcoholism. Like I drank a lot. I did drugs, got into some unhealthy relationships, and yeah, that caused more harm than good. And that doesn't necessarily address the issue. It just numbs it. That's all it really does. And keep numbing it until you just don't even think about it, and just get so caught up within yourself, caught up within the lies, caught up with that dependency upon substances, that you kind of dig yourself into a hole, and it seems almost impossible to get out of, but it's not impossible. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Okay.
It's like show's over.
So we'll be right back.
After this commercial break from Lucky Charms.
Yeah, that's really insightful, Unc.
Yeah, visions.
My mom's be tripping.
Something like that, yeah.
Says I'm hurt. I'm not. But yeah, so from just going off that, just being in a situation of hurt. I guess how would you go in the process of the process of like going up to somebody who you have hurt, like how would you like approach that, like because I know like yeah, like being native and stuff, the one thing you always see and hear is native pride, and the kind of like the main thing of that is pride. Really really prideful of like ourselves, and like we don't, so we don't think there's anything like wrong with us, and so like you hurt
Right.
somebody, so like how would you go, I guess, in that situation of like being, I guess, be the bigger person to like go up to them and be like, man, I'm sorry I hurt you.
It's like the bigger person.
Yeah.
All flexing.
So like a cat. It's
Yeah.
like,
Like a cat. Yeah.
build yourself up.
Yeah, that's a tough question. That's a tough one. Well, it's really about humbling yourself again. No one's better than the other person. We're all created in the image of God, every single human being. Therefore, every single human being is a sacred being, no matter what, whatever they believe in, whatever that they've done. It could be the worst possible thing. They're still created in the image of God. God's image is still within them. And that's sometimes a tough pill to swallow because, I mean, people can be monsters, people, they do not resemble the image of God. They don't respect it. And a result of a lot of that hurt and pain comes from a lack of respect of the image of God. So, yeah, when I've hurt a lot of people in my time, and I still continue to do so, part of it's, well, the main part of it, I'd say, is manning up and owning up to it, and telling that person that, hey, I did you wrong, and I'm sorry. I disrespected you. I acted in a way that was selfish and hurtful, and I'm sorry. With some people, you got to be very specific, and then, but it's also requires a level of wisdom to know like the right time, the right words, the right people to get involved, right? Because if it ventures outside of that realm, then it just becomes gossip, and then you're just perpetuating that hurt. So yeah, you need to know the right time, right people, the right words, and sometimes that might take a while. I've hurt people in my past that I'm still praying about seeking their forgiveness, because right now is not the best time to do that, to seek their forgiveness, because it would probably it would more than likely cause more harm than good, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to keep hurting people. Yeah.
Is that it? That's all you got? Nah, just kidding.
That's it.
It's like, come on, man, we're paying for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I guess to wrap that all up, yeah, a level of humility, and as I was sharing before we started recording, is that there is a big difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. And oftentimes people think that forgiveness automatically incorporates reconciliation, but that's not the case. Forgiveness is forgiving the act that person did. Reconciliation is building back that relationship that you had. It's not going to be the same as a result of that hurt. It'll be different, but you'll still try to seek to build that up. However, in some situations, it's better just to forgive and then move on. In other situations, it's good to forgive and seek to reconcile that relationship. However, sometimes it can, like I said, it can be more toxic, can be more harm than good to actually try to be reconciled. And the person seeking forgiveness needs to be able to understand that if the offense is great, the harder it is to be reconciled. And it's going to be hard to forgive as well. And forgiveness is not a one-time event. People automatically kind of think it's a one-time thing. I for one, think it's something that you need to struggle with and live with on a day-to-day basis almost, until you finally feel like you're free from that. And it takes a while to actually forgive somebody, to truly forgive them. And I'm still forgiving people from my past, both further and recent. And there's days where I'm like, God, I forgive this person. Help me in my heart to forgive them fully. And there's some days I'm like, screw them. If I can be blunt, if I can be real here.
So, you can't.
Yeah. Right. Confession time.
Yeah. So, Father, I forgot I sinned.
Yeah. He's like, which one of us?
Yeah, that's a lot of it's a lot of information. Some good stuff, man. Yeah, you've surely been around the res.
Been around the corner.
Yeah. It's a corner store.
Yeah. Still Josh from the block.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's just a lot that goes into just trauma and the things that come with it. Being here at IBC, I've learned a lot. Like, I always thought there was trauma, a couple of things, but then it turns out there's more, and the things I didn't realize counted as trauma, and even just the habits that I have today. The things that I do, I didn't realize are kind of from trauma. A little bit about myself. I'm always joking around and stuff like that, and it took. So as you can tell, but yeah, a lot of that comes from because I thought growing up, I'm just a funny guy, but it was my coping mechanism for the trauma that I experienced. It was my way of a shield that where if people saw me smiling, oh, this guy's always he's always smiling, he's always happy, so he doesn't experience it and stuff like that. But turns out I did. I just had a really good, I guess, shield, because smiling adds smiling is plus 10 for a shield and defense.
Yeah.
So laughter adds 20% increase.
Yeah, poison's 100.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just my way of coping with the things that were going on in my life. And I never wanted to look back on my life, but being a believer and going to reading the Bible and stuff like that, there's so much stuff that one of the things that which is really cool talking about all this, and especially on the subject of forgiveness, because it's one of the things that I kind of struggle with. A couple episodes back, when it was me and Will talking about grief, I talked about how forgiving myself was one of the hardest things for me to do, and then now forgiving others is another thing that I kind of have a hard time doing. But I want to seek that forgiveness and stuff like that. And Josh, Uncle was saying, it's a process. It's finding the right time and stuff like that. You don't want to see them at a powwow or something. But hey, man, walk up to them, but I forgive you. They walk away.
Buy your fry bread.
Yeah, we're all good, right?
Yeah, bury the hatchet.
Yeah. To show you I forgive you, got some honey.
Yeah, I'll get you a Coke.
Yeah. So I got $20. Anything you want? You want 2 fry breads?
Yeah.
But yeah, just things like that. There's a time and place for it. One thing here too at IBC that we have is the whole public thing. Not doing something in front of everybody just to seek that that recognition that to show everybody oh, I'm a forgiving person, but look at me, I forgave this person. But doing it just hey man, going up to them when maybe nobody's around or something like that, and generally talking to them and talking things out. Don't just say I forgive you and walk away, but just have a conversation with that person and stuff like that. I've done that to some people in my past, and there's some people I want to do that. It's just the time and place and figuring out what to say because it's really easy to think of conversations in your head and how things like how it plays out in your head, but the moment you get to that I guess situation, like you don't know what to say or like you say stuff, but then you walk away and you're like, like I was supposed to have said this and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a lot. Um, I guess going back to to Uncle here.
Oh,
Yeah, so he took some sleeping meds, so I'm
yeah.
he's
He's
about to
got
go.
one eye open.
Yeah. But yeah, just like I know that was a lot of information, kind of like poured from your heart. Like if there was a way for you to kind of like, I guess simplify that for like in like the whole thing, like how would you like word it?
Well, yeah, don't do drugs. That's for one. That's one thing. So I ain't gonna lead nowhere. um, no, I'd say to truly forgive somebody, you need to recognize that you need forgiveness too, and that true forgiveness comes from Christ. Now we're celebrating, Holy Week here. Easter Sunday's coming up, and it's a Easter's, yeah. So get your Walmart bags ready for Easter egg hunting. Yeah, Easter Sunday's coming up, and it's the resurrection, the pivotal moment not only for a Christian but for all of humanity. And basically the whole reason why Christ came down to earth, to demonstrate that power in the resurrection, the power of forgiveness in the resurrection. And so, yeah, to summarize all that is, realize that you need forgiveness too. Everyone needs forgiveness. They may not know it, right? But it's up to believers, and it's up to us actually. People. I'd say maybe even in general to let people know that they need forgiveness and that they are forgiven, and to not take that for granted.
What about like I should have said this earlier, but like I thought of it just now.
He's like, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of forgiveness, like in like yeah, just like forgiving somebody or even seeking forgiveness, like like we live in a world of social media. So like would you say, like calling them like or even just like, texting them like, hey, I forgive you or stuff like that. Like like what are your thoughts on that? Like do you think like that's a legitimate like uh a legitimate like forgiveness situation, or do you think it would be better to be like in person if you're able to?
Yeah. Yeah, just Snapchat it real quick.
Yeah. Send them a story.
Yeah, I'll be gone in 24 hours. Like, if you didn't see it, then you're not forgiven. No, yeah, the technology is great in helping us communicate with one another. From, people from all over the world. I mean, I'm in classes right now. I'm meeting with an instructor who's all the way in Africa, so it's pretty crazy. But I would say maybe for minor things, like, oh, my bad, I used your toothpaste this morning or whatever.
Use your toothbrush.
Yeah, use your toothbrush. Yeah, I had to polish my chain.
Yeah.
my 2 chains. No, yeah, so for something minor, I think is a quick text is like, hey, I'm sorry, can we talk later, just a heads up. But to get into the whole detailed and, the whole paragraph mode, when you're writing somebody, I think that's not the best way to go. It's better to do it in person if you can, like you said.
What about a call, like calling them?
Yeah, sometimes a phone call works. I mean, sometimes that can get heated too, right? And it's honestly, with that barrier between you and the other person, with whether it be the phone, the text, or whatever medium you're using, there's a barrier there. It's easier to hide behind that barrier if things get too sticky. So when when you're face to face with somebody, you know, mano y mano, you know, man to man, mano y el swine. You know, when you're, you know, up front with somebody, you can't hide, you know, it's there, and you have to address it. And sometimes that can get heated too, and oftentimes you probably should, if it's too heated, then probably bring someone else in to help with that, kind of mediate that. But I mean, that's where, like I was saying earlier, you know, it requires some wisdom and maturity to, you know the right time, right place, the right words, right. Definitely going into it with prayer as well, and with the love of Christ upon your heart. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend doing it over the phone. Send some memes.
So I only got so much minutes.
Yeah. Call me after 9 when it's free. He's like, hold on, wait, let me get to the chapter house.
Yeah.
Get on free Wi-Fi.
Don't answer back. This is my mom's phone.
Yeah. This is my grandma's phone. It's her plan. It's not unlimited. It's got that cellular one service right now.
Okay. Yeah. Another, I guess, situation or thing or wanted to talk about was, what if the person that you've hurt, or maybe the person that has hurt you, has passed away? Like, how do you go about that?
Yeah. Yeah, that one's also a tough one. Yeah, so for those of you who probably didn't hear the last podcast I was on, I shared my testimony, kind of my story. And a big part of my background is my mom passed away when I was 14, going on 15. And like most mothers, they hurt their children, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. I don't want to talk bad about mothers or anything, but I mean, they're human too, right? They make mistakes. They hurt people. And they need forgiveness too. But yeah, my mom, she did cause some harm in my life. Not to talk bad about her or anything. That was hard to deal with because, again, I felt stuck. Like I couldn't go to her, process that with her. At the end of it, it came down to the point of trusting God with that mode of forgiveness, seeking the Lord to help me forgive her in my heart, and acknowledging the pain, but also acknowledging that pain that she caused me is dead, and it does not define me. Her life is always going to be part of mine, right? Her influence will always be a part of me. I mean, I carry her blood, so yeah, she bleeds red, I bleed red. So I was born red. But that doesn't define me, and that even the pain that she caused doesn't define her either, right? Like I was saying earlier, everyone, including my mother, was made in the image of God. And I think the world would be a whole lot better place if people understood that we are image bearers. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But yeah, that's a tough one, and that's something, and it's different for everybody, right? Because we all have different parents, for me, my mom, or different loved ones who passed away, who hurt us, and we can't talk about it with them. Another thing that helped too is to talk with my brother about that, and with my dad, with other people who can also relate with losing someone like that and having to process through that hurt and that pain. It helps to talk. It helps to vent. I mean, there's times I, was just really angry at her, and like I was wishing I'd never even been born, but taking that anger to God and letting Him process that with you in your heart, because I mean, yeah, you need to be able to vent that anger too. So in some way or fashion, not through drugs or alcohol or violence or anything like that, but through talking it out through and with the right people too, right? People who can actually help the situation and not cause more harm.
It's a lot of helpfulness and yeah, and yeah, just the subject in general. Yeah, just seeking that help and that healing and stuff like that, and um, yeah, there's a lot of hurt in the world. Yeah, a lot of people hurting other people and stuff like that, and it's especially like on the res when some people feel like no one's listening, like they feel alone or like they have no one to go to and stuff like that. But yeah, like having that person in your life and stuff. So for those of you guys listening, if you do have somebody in your life who you can trust and stuff like that, and really kind of be open with them, like I would say, really just I guess keep them in your life, and if something were to happen, like really just seek forgiveness and forgive each other, and like yeah, don't lose that person because as the world's ever growing and changing, and the influence of like the media and social media and like living in a technology world and stuff, and it's starting to get hard, like harder and harder to find people, genuine, like people like that. And yeah, so yeah, if you have people in your life like that, even family members or who, yeah, just you know, keep them in your life.
Mm-hmm. Hold them close.
Yeah,
Hold Uncle close.
yeah. So keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Yeah. Keep your friends close, your uncles closer.
Yeah. But yeah. So there's a lot of information on such, I guess, small time.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess is there any last comments you got before we send you to bed?
Send me to bed. Yeah.
Send you home.
Yeah, go lay down.
Yeah.
Got both eyes closed now. um, yeah, like Michael said, people that are willing to listen and help you through life's tough situations, who are genuine, who are real, who will tell you the truth straight up, but love you in that, are hard to come by. Yeah, hang on to them. Christ brought them into your life for a reason, to help you, to be there for you. Yeah, and reach out. If you're going through some pretty bad stuff, talk to somebody. Don't hold it in. Don't believe that you can do it all alone, because honestly, you can't. I tried and I failed miserably. Nowadays, the pride factor is people are like, I'm on my own. I can do this by myself. I don't need no one. Unfortunately, that is a lie. I'll just say it straight out. But I say that in love too, meaning that I'm saying it because if you keep going down that path, it's just gonna hurt and hurt and hurt more, and you're gonna become a more callous, harder person, hurting people along the way, kind of like a wrecking ball. Came in. I'm not gonna sing that song due to copyright. But yeah, hang on to those people, and sometimes people come and go. It's inevitable. People leave. People come and go willingly or unwillingly. And we got to learn to be okay with that, and learn to let go and let God handle the rest, and trust Him with that.
Yeah. And like on the subject of that, here at IBC, we kind of encourage, that having somebody to talk to and stuff like that. And as like I'm not married, but like, as for married
It's
couple.
like, you're not?
Yeah. So as for the married people, who if any of you listeners are married, it's your partner, and then it's also a friend, like those two people who you can really talk to. And like for us single people here, like if you have like one, like I would say encourage you to maybe find a couple more, like without just having that one person who knows all about you, but having a multiple, like maybe like two,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yeah, a plethora.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a plethora of like people, like a handful. But yeah, like just having like more people who know all about you, that you can generally be completely open with, with all your like faults and failures and all stuff like that. But yeah, just people like that in your life. So yeah, that's just kind of what I have on the subject of having somebody in your life who.
Yeah, you can't just bear all that load on one person, right? You need a multitude of people to help out. Yeah, because it takes a community to like I said at the beginning, community for healing. Yeah, you need that community.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening. Yeah, for this episode, and yeah, just really thankful for you guys. And if you guys didn't hear the last episode, yeah, we reached over 1,000 streams. So thank you.
Nice.
For making me rich. No, I'm just kidding.
He's got a new hat on.
Yeah.
New glasses. About to go get some burritos.
No, but for real. Thank you guys. Yeah, just for all our listeners, and and if if you have any other questions or maybe other subjects you would want us to talk about, this one was more focused on forgiving and healing and seeking forgiveness and all that. But if there's any other questions that you have, maybe in dealing with like abuse in family, or how to talk to a friend who you think might be like going through a hard time, but you don't know how to do that, but you want to do that for them. But yeah, if you have any other like just like topics like that, we're more than open to really share our experience in those situations, but also maybe some pointers in that. But yeah, so thank you guys, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. For us it's coming Easter, so happy hunting. No,
happy hunting. Yeah. Yeah, get your Walmart bags ready.
So if you don't have grass, just use your grandma's wig. So, those eggs in there.
Yeah, the cow dung.
Yeah, and if they tell you you're too old and need to be with the older kids, tell them. So I'm a kid at heart.
Yeah, child of God.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys, and love y'all. I guess see ya.
Bye.
Bye.